Hey guys, in this vlog I'm going to teach you how to make the famous Disney Peppermint Bark, or at least a version of it. So for those who don't know, I used to work at Storybook Circus and we make a lot of our own treats there. And one of the treats we made for the holidays was peppermint bark. And I absolutely love trying to learn how to make treats from Storybook Circus at home. And this is probably one of the easiest ones you can ever make. Like, it's really, really hard to mess this up, and it's really fun to make. So what you'll need is some milk chocolate, melting chocolate. Make sure you get melting chocolate, because if you get chocolate chips, it's not going to melt right, or at least it's not going to solidify right. And then you can get white, or you can get white chocolate, or you can get peppermint chocolate, but make sure you get like a white one and then like a dark chocolate one. You don't even have to get like a chocolate one. This is light cocoa now that I think about it, but it still smells good. I'll tell you the double broiling way first. So what you do is you take two pans, one that can fit inside another. These pans fit really well when we set them sideways like this, because once the water fills up, it kind of levels out a little bit. So you would fill the bottom pan up with probably, I would say, like an inch of water, and you would boil it. And then you would simply just put the top one on top, but make sure while you're doing this that you keep track of the water. Make sure it doesn't boil over, because when it gets really, really hot, even though that's good for your chocolate on the inside, it will boil over and just make a mess, and you don't want that. And what you could do to test out if it's getting hot, if it's hot enough, is you just take one chip, they look like this, and you simply set it in there. Sometimes I like setting them actually on the side of the very side of the pan, so that way you can see it slipping. And when you start, like, push it around, when you start to see them melting and kind of mushing together, simply just mix it together, and you would pour it onto a cookie sheet. This is a cake pan, but since we're using a smaller amount of chocolate, I'm only going to use a small cake pan. You would simply just take your melted chocolates inside, and you would scoop it out with like a spoon. It could be a regular spoon, or it could be like a baking spoon. A spatula would work the best, but we don't have a spatula here. You would just scoop it out into the pan, and that's how, and I'll explain and show you the rest from there on. But that's how you would basically double boil it. I've learned that when you're cooking with chocolate, that white chocolate cooks faster than regular chocolate does, milk chocolate does. So just kind of keep an eye on that. However you're cooking it, whether you're double boiling it or you're microwaving it, keep an eye on the chocolate, because you don't want to burn it. But I am going to actually microwave it. If you're going to microwave it, you want to use a microwavable bowl. I'm going to use this small ceramic bowl because, like I said, we have such little chocolate. The recipe normally I believe it's a cup and a half of one chocolate, or a milk chocolate, and then a cup and a half of white chocolate. They also, Disney adds peppermint oil into their mix. I'm not a huge peppermint fan. I like sweet peppermint, like candy canes. So I don't add any peppermint oil into it, but they add, like, I think it's like a teaspoon, not even, for the entire batch. And that much chocolate will fit on an entire, like, regular size cookie sheet. So just keeping that in mind, I'm only using just over 1 cup of chocolate. What I'm actually going to do is take out some of the chocolate, because I want the bowl to get hot and melt the bottom first. So I'm going to put it in for 1 minute. In the meantime, I'm going to talk about peppermints, or candy canes. You can use peppermint candies. I like using candy canes. These are broken, so I'm going to use both of these. You can use more candy canes, or you can use less candy canes, so it's more chocolatey instead of pepperminty. I'm only using 2 right now, because I'm going to save my others for next year, because they're good for next year. Alright, beautiful. So I put it in for a minute, and as you can see, or you can kind of see, it is already starting to get melty. I take a spoon, mix it around. I will tell you that in a ceramic bowl or a glass bowl would be preferable, because it gets the entire bowl really nice and hot. but the middle of the bowl, oh, I've noticed, at least the middle bottom of the bowl gets hotter quicker. So push your chocolate around to the side, like I just did, and then you can add more and put it back in. I'm putting it in for 30 seconds at a time, or 30 seconds here, and then I'll check it and put it in for another 30 seconds just to kind of keep an eye on it, because you don't want it to burn. You don't want it to burn at all, because then you will be able to taste it and it's not going to taste good and you're not going to like it. Alright, so my chocolate is done. The chocolate that was already melted is a little crispy. It's not like very melty, which means it was starting to cook too much. Like it wasn't just melting it anymore, it was cooking it. So it's chunky, and you don't want that. So what you might want to do is just put it all in together for 1.5 minutes instead of putting it in portions like I did. Learn from my mistakes, because I put it in for a total of 2 minutes, and that's probably not the best thing I could have done. Anyway, so it's a little chunky, but that's okay, because chocolate is chocolate and it's not burnt yet. The bowl's going to be really, really hot, mind you. You're going to literally just take it and put it in there. Let me just scoop it, put it straight up in there. This is where a spatula will come in handy, so that way you can get all of the chocolate that's in the bowl, instead of just whatever the spoon can pick up. And you want to do this as quickly as you possibly can, because as soon as it comes out of the microwave, it starts to solidify. And since my chocolate is already crunchy, it's going to be doing that as of now. But anyway, what you want to do is you want to get it out, and you want to push it, spread it around as much as you can. You don't want it to be too thin, because like I was saying, the thicker, for me anyway, the thicker is better. But remember, you're going to put another layer of chocolate on top of this. We're going to put a layer of white chocolate on top of this. So if it's too thin, that's okay. You'll put another, just remember to put more white chocolate on that area. Try not to get it on the sides. Try to keep it straight on the bottom. And try to get it as flat as you possibly can. Like, see how I'm smoothing it around? So next, what you're going to do is you're going to want to, you can put this, take this, see the finished touch, it looks like pudding actually. Take this and you want to put this in your freezer. While it's in the freezer, you want to take this bowl that you just used and you're going to clean it out, wash it out completely, so you got to get all that chocolate out of there. So all I did is I literally just rinsed it out with hot water and it just came right off. You don't have to clean it with soap and water, because you're still going to be using chocolate, you're still going to be using food in it. You just have to get, all the chocolate out of it so it doesn't taint the beautiful white chocolate. So I'm going to do this time around, I'm going to put it in. This actually doesn't seem like a whole lot of white chocolate. I think I used most of my white chocolate last time I made this, but that is perfectly fine. So I'm going to cook this or microwave it in the microwave for 1.5 minutes. Alright, you want to be careful, because the longer you cook that bowl, the hotter it's going to get, and I almost just burnt my hand. But as you can see, it's kind of melty and shiny. I'm going to use this to hold on to the bowl because it is very hot. But you want to do the same thing, just melt it together. Oh, that's perfect. And like again, you may notice at the bottom some little crispy parts, but that's okay. That's just the chocolate starting to cook, but as long as it's not in it a lot, it's absolutely fine. Now, I absolutely forgot, before you melt the white chocolate, you need to crush the peppermint. Now what I did is I broke the pieces into as many tiny pieces as I possibly could. And now what I'm doing is I'm smashing them. I put them in a baggie because that makes less of a mess. And then I'm smashing them with a hammer, like he's not. Alright, and just get them into as many tiny pieces as you possibly can. Alright, so once they're crushed, you take your white chocolate, and remember, do the peppermint first before you do the white chocolate, because the white chocolate hardens quicker than the milk chocolate does. So you take the milk chocolate out. It's nice and hard. You can't tell, but it's nice and hard. And you do exactly the same thing that you did with this, but you put white chocolate on top. Again, be careful. Your white chocolate bowl might be very, very hot, as mine currently is, but I'm going to do this really quickly. You have to do the white chocolate very quickly. I think I said this already, but it hardens quicker than the milk chocolate does. It's something to do with its density or something in it, but it hardens quicker. And you have to get it on there, on the milk chocolate, and you have to get the peppermint on there. So you want to do the same thing. Try not to swirl it too much. I can already tell my milk chocolate isn't completely finished drying because now it's mixing together. You're learning all the do-nots here. So for future reference, try, see how that's mixing together? You can't even really tell in the video, but you can now. The milk chocolate is mixing with the white chocolate. This is what we did not want. We wanted beautiful, pure white chocolate on top, not a mixture. I mean, it's gonna taste good either way you look at it, so yeah, okay. So now that it's all flattened and mixed with the chocolate, you will try and take this little tiny piece up. Okay, you're gonna put that in there. You're gonna take your peppermint and I'm trying to tilt this a little bit, and you're gonna sprinkle it. Sprinkle it on there. Now I'm using 2 candy canes for what is about a little over, it's probably a cup and a half actually, of chocolate. And you want to make sure you get all of it everywhere. Now you can use more candy cane, you can use less candy cane. Once you sprinkle it on there, you want to tap it down as gently as possible because, as I just did, you don't want to accidentally stick your finger in the chocolate, because then your finger gets sticky and it makes this step harder to do. And you want to do this as soon, like I said, as soon as you possibly can. So that way the chocolate is still wet when you got it on there and it will stick better, because when it starts hardening, it will not stay. I had that happen when I was making Jared's parents' peppermint chocolate, and it didn't stay, and I was really sad about it. But that's all right. I think these are all staying very well, actually. So I should be good. Mind you, last time I made the last 2 times I made peppermint chocolate, it did not swirl together like this. I think it's because I'm trying to rush it, so that's probably why. And more or less, that is what it's going to look like. It's going to be more white than chocolate. Did you see that peppermint fall? That's because it's not all stuck together. So after you've got it all in there, you're going to stick it in the freezer. Okay, so it's been several minutes since the peppermint bark has been in the oven or in the freezer. And what's really good is I've noticed just by taking this out, it's already starting to shift, meaning it's not attached to the pan, which is really good. It should come right out. And it should look just like this, be like about this thin, which is good, it's thin enough. It's all one piece. Now what you're gonna do now is probably just as messy as the peppermint part is. Also, I just tapped it because I wanted to see if all the peppermint or all the candy cane stayed, and it did. So what we're gonna do now is what we normally would do in the circus is we would tip it over and then start punching it to crack it. But you don't have to do that. Just literally just start breaking it into pieces, which it's not really breaking for me. There we go. Anything you have to do to break it into as many pieces as you can. They don't have to be a specific size. They can be gigantic pieces like this. They can be tiny pieces like this. I like somewhere in the middle. This isn't bad. It's also got a decent amount of peppermint on it, which is really good. But you just break it into pieces. Try not to have your fingers touch the candy cane, because when you do that, the candy cane sticks to your fingers, and you want it to stay on the chocolate. You don't want it to be taken off, because you worked so hard to get it on there. Yeah, after you're done, you can put it in a cute little jar or whatever. I've got a jar that I'm going to put them in. You just place them in there, and you're good to go. Very good. Nom, nom, nom. Thank you guys for watching. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my other videos. I have no idea what next month's recipe will be. Oh, yes I do. I'm pretty sure I'm going to do chocolate covered strawberries, which is very similar to this. It's just covering it in food. That will give you a really good example of double boiling, so I'll have to double boil for that one. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. Hope your recipe turned out good. Did it turn good? Did you do it? Did you like it? Have you had Disney's Peppermint Bark before? Do you think it tastes the same? Or do you think it tastes differently? Think it tastes better? But yeah, that's about it. Thanks for watching.